Morning. This morning the talk is the greatest evil in the world, and that is ignorance. Ignorance refers to ignorance of the Dhamma, ignorance of reality of the world, truth concerning life and afterlife. If you don't know about the Dhamma, there's darkness in the world, and only when the Sammasambuddha appears and he spreads the Dhamma, and then when people follow the Dhamma, there is real peace in the world. You can find those places where there are wars, where there are killings, there's a lot of suffering, quarrels, etc. It's all due to ignorance of the Dhamma. Because of ignorance of the Dhamma, we do what we should not do, and we neglect to do what we should do. So we cause problems to ourselves, we cause problems to others, and that's why nowadays you find people are very materialistic, because economy is good, and then people become materialistic. And there is more mental suffering. You find people with depression, people kill others because of hatred, because of religion, differences in religion, differences in race, and mainly because of wrong views. You don't understand the Dhamma, you have wrong views about the world. Don't understand about the law of karma vipaka, which is what is said in the Bible: as you reap, as you sow, so shall you reap. What you give to others, you get back in return. A lot of people don't understand that, and people also don't know about samsara, the cycle of rebirths, that the beings that we meet, we have met before, probably many times. So the people that you hate now could be your relatives in the past life. That could be your relatives in the future life also. So it's very important to know the Dhamma. If you understand the Dhamma, then there'll be peace in the world. Sometimes you can say Buddhism is not a religion. Not a religion in the sense that it doesn't ask you to believe. Buddha said, Ehi Pasiko, come and see. Practice and see the results yourself. You can get the results in this very life, then you can believe. Buddhism doesn't promise you, if you become a Buddhist, you'll go to heaven. No. Whether you go to heaven or you go to hell or you go to the ghost realm or animal realm, all depends on yourself. All depends on your actions. Yeah. So it's very important to understand the nature of life, the nature of existence. There are three characteristics in the world that a lot of people don't know, which is anicca, dukkha and anatta. Anicca is impermanence. Everything in the world is energy, and energy doesn't stay still, moving all the time. So because of impermanence, everything will change. When we were young, we read stories or comics, and they live happily ever after. Yeah, and we like to believe that. They live happily after. We would like also to live happily ever after. It doesn't happen that way. You fall in love and you think you have the perfect partner. After about 10 years, your marriage falls apart. Because of each other's ego. Yeah. So, because of impermanence, everything is changing. So, one of the famous monks in Thailand, Ajahn Chah, he used to say, "Mine and not, nothing is certain. Nothing is certain." Sometimes a businessman strives very hard to become rich. When he becomes rich, he thinks he's made it. He'll be happy ever after. Suddenly he finds he has cancer, terminal cancer, he never expected. Yeah. So this is the way life it is. Sumedho says that's the way it is. Yeah. And another characteristic of the world is dukkha, suffering. There are two types of suffering: physical suffering and mental suffering. Physical suffering means we grow old, we age, and then we become sick, and we die. Yeah. In the suttas, the Buddha said, birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering. Not to get what one wants is suffering. To associated with those that you dislike is suffering. To be separated from those that you love is suffering. In short, the 5 aggregates of attachment are suffering. These 5 aggregates of attachment is actually body and mind. These 5 things: body, feelings, perception, volition, consciousness. The first is the body. The last 4 is the mind, the working of the mind. Once you have the 5 aggregates, you have a perception of the self. This is my body. I feel happy, I feel sad. But the Buddha says it's not that I feel suffering, just suffering arises. It's a feeling that arises. Happiness feeling arises like a computer. Because of conditions, things change and feelings change, etc. But because of the wrong perceptions that we have, we think there's an I connected with this body and the mind. So we attach to this body and the mind as the self. And we see ourselves in the world. And because the world is impermanent, and when you have happy feelings, you want to hold on to it. But everything is changing, so when it changes, you feel suffering. Yeah. So, as far as physical suffering is concerned, there's not much you can do. The fact that your body must age, must become sick, must die. Even an enlightened being, even holy men, must go through that process. But mental suffering is something else. Mental suffering is because of not understanding the Dhamma. If you understand the Dhamma, you will know that everything that arises, that ceases in the world is all due to conditions. It's not like somebody made the world. The Buddha was the only religious teacher who said time had no beginning and time has no end. So if there's no beginning, you cannot find someone who created the world. The Buddha said, when the Buddha talked about cosmology, the world systems, the Buddha said, every star that we see out there is a world by itself. And every world has these planes of existence, basically 3 realms: the sensual desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. The sensual desire realm, you have humans, you have animals, you have ghosts, you have hell beings, and you also have heavenly beings. The 5 destinations of rebirth. And it is called sensual desire realm because the beings, you have male and you have female, and there is sensual desire. Sensual desire not only refers to sex, but the attachment to see beautiful sights, hear beautiful sounds, smell beautiful odors, taste good food, touch and thinking. So the characteristic of this sensual desire realm is we get enjoyment through the senses. The five senses tell us about the outside world. Sights, sounds, smells, taste and touch. That's the outside world. The inside world is the mind. Mind also you can enjoy. Nowadays a lot of people play computer games, yeah? Entertain yourself. So that is the nature of the sensual desire realm. In the form realm, the beings, in the sensual desire realm you also have heavenly beings, but they are low beings, so they also enjoy sensual pleasures. In the form realm you have higher heavenly beings, and their body is not like us. Our bodies, we have a head, two hands, two arms, eyes, ears, etc. In the form realm, the heavenly beings are just a ball of light. Like Brahma, Maha Brahma, there's a ball of light. And that's because they are there, because they have developed jhana, rupa jhana. So they are reborn in the rupa realm, form realm. And the mind is much stronger than ours. And the brightness of the body can pervade at the minimum 1,000 world systems, 1,000 stars can go. And the highest can, the brightness of the body can go up to 100,000 stars away. So sometimes it is said in the discourses of the Buddha, when they come to visit, for example, Sakadevaraja in the sensual desire heaven, the Sakadevaraja will see a ball of light coming from the distance, like an asteroid coming. And then they know that this Brahma is coming, and then they stand up out of respect. And when this Brahma arrives, he changes its form to be like them, and then he will talk to them. And after that, you will fly away. This ball of light will fly away again. But in the formless realm, it is called formless, I believe, because even the other devas cannot see them. The body is so fine and so huge, no other devas can see them. The lower devas cannot see the higher devas, but the higher devas can see the lower devas. But the lower devas can see the higher devas if they allow you to see, because their mind is much stronger. Just like we can't see ghosts, we can't see devas, but if they want us to see, they can make us see. Yeah. So these are the three realms: Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, Arupa Loka. So the other characteristic are these higher devas, these form realm devas and the formless realm devas. They don't need sensual enjoyment, because sensual enjoyment is a much lower enjoyment. Their happiness comes from within, because they have developed these states of mental absorption. The mind is in great bliss. So the Buddha says that those devas in the second jhana heaven, they are so blissed out. Every day they are saying sukha, sukha, happiness, happiness, happiness. For millions and millions of years, they are getting, it's better than on drugs. And drugs, you are high for maybe a few hours, but for them, millions of years they are blissed out. And in the third jhana heavens, the Buddha said they are so blissed out they cannot utter a word. Totally blissed out. And the fourth jhana heavens even higher. So those are so our mental suffering, if we understand the Dhamma, if you get a vision of the Dhamma, Dhammachakku, you become the lowest Arya, which is a stream enterer. And for that you don't need meditation, you need to listen to the Buddha's discourses again and again. Then when you understand, your life will change, your direction in life will change, because when you know the nature of life, you are no more You don't want to chase after material gains, because everything in the world is impermanent. Even if you become the richest man in the world, how long is your life? On average, 70 something, you will pass away. Yeah. So when you pass away, you cannot even bring 1 cent with you. So you understand all this, and you know that there are woeful destinations of rebirth. You become very cautious. You learn the Dhamma, you know that your actions will determine your next few lifetimes, not just 1 lifetime. Then your direction in life changes. You become more spiritual. You see longer. A lot of people, their vision in life is very short. They want to become rich. They want to have a beautiful spouse. In another 30, 40 years, your beautiful spouse will no longer be beautiful. Yeah. So when you understand the Dhamma, you see much further. So that's why your life direction in life changes. The third characteristic of the world is anatta. Anatta means there is no self, nothing is self. Atta in Buddhism is a bit different from the Hindu Atman. Atta means something that is permanent, something that is everlasting, like the Christian soul. But in the Buddha's teaching, everything is energy, everything is a flux of energy, nothing stays still. So there's nothing permanent in the world. So this body that we take to be the self, the Buddha likened it to foam. You know, when you put fab or something, soap powder to wash your clothes, you stir the water, what happens? All the bubbles come up. Yeah. When you look at the bubbles, is there anything solid? No. Bubbles arise, bubbles burst. Bubbles arise, bubbles burst. This is a very good simile for our body, because our body is made out of cells, trillions of cells. And these cells are just like the foam bubbles. Cells arise and cells cease, cells arise and cells cease. And now science tells us that every 7 years, all the cells in our body now, in 7 years' time, all would be dead. New cells come up. So we are like we use a simile, like the snake shedding the skin all the time. So we are shedding our cells all the time, changing our cells all the time. Nothing solid in this body. And the Buddha says our mind is changing even faster than our body cells. But the Buddha said, because of our wrong perception, we take this, we can see that this body is not the self, because 5 years ago, when you look at the mirror, and 5 years later, when you look at the mirror, you're not so young anymore. Yeah. So you realize that this body is changing. One day you will become sick and it will die. So it's easier to see that this body is not the self, but it's harder to see that the mind is not the self. This mind is our self-protection device. From the moment we are born until we die, we are struggling through life to protect this self. Yeah? Because of the ego, we want everything good for this self, this I and mind. We struggle to get the best in life for I and mind, my family, my children, my parents, my property, everything we want to protect. So life is a struggle. But the Buddha said, all this is not ours really. We came into this world empty-handed, and we will go off empty-handed. Yeah? If you have a good karma, you will have more things to use in this world. You will enjoy life better. If you have bad karma because of bad actions you did, you won't be so lucky in life. Yeah? So, because of anatta, and we are changing, this body and mind is changing, all the time. There's nothing that you can identify as I, as me, because which part of the body is yours? It's all cells changing, nothing you can identify as you. Anything you identify in the body as you, sometime later you'll just die off. So if you say this body is I or mine, 70 years later when the body is dead, where did that I go to? Same with the mind. So this is the characteristic of the world: anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, suffering, and non-self. This suffering, just now I said, is physical suffering and mental suffering. Physical suffering, you can't do much. Mental suffering is because of craving and attachment. Because of craving and attachment, things that give us happiness, we want to hold on to it. But we cannot hold on to anything in this world. So when things change, for example, your relationship with somebody changes and you can't accept it. Some people commit suicide. But that's the nature of life. If you understand the Dhamma, that everything is impermanent, then you let go. I know some people who have listened to my sutta talks and they have cured themselves of depression. An old lady said she listened to the sutta talks, and after 1 year she came to thank me to say that this anxiety disorder that she had been suffering from for many years has been cured. So Dhamma can cure our mental suffering. From the moment you become the lowest Arya, you have no more mental suffering. So that's why it's so good to have this, to know the Dhamma. And the Dhamma also tells us that about the round of rebirths. If we pass away, we can be reborn in 5 destinations of rebirth. 2 are happy destinations: heaven, various levels of heaven, and human beings. These are the 2 happy destinations. The 3 woeful destinations are the ghost, animal, and hell realm. Hell is the worst. You're tortured every day. So where we go for rebirth depends on our karma. Even like us, we are reborn as a human being. We can see very clearly there are many different types of human beings in the world. Some, they have a good life. Some have a life of suffering, like many of those in Africa. Some in India. Some in Indonesia. Suffering. So life we have depends on our actions, on the amount of blessings we have. So if we know that there is this cycle of rebirth, that we can be reborn into woeful planes, then we become more careful. A lot of people are very reckless in life, very careless. They just enjoy. At the end of life, you have to pay for it. And then the Buddha said our life is governed by the principle of karma vipaka. Karma vipaka. Karma is the intentional actions that we do through body, speech and mind. Vipaka is the result that you reap as a result of your actions. If you do good actions that benefit other beings, the result that you get is happiness. As you give happiness, you get back happiness. And then if you do evil, you harm others. Very often because of wrong view. For example, these ISIS people, they think that they can cut somebody's throat and go to heaven with 72 virgins waiting for them. All this is wrong views. Getting the wrong teachings. So that's why it's important to know the Dhamma. So the Buddha also tells us that the wholesome actions that we do will give us happiness, and nobody can bless us, nobody can curse us. Our good actions bless us, our evil actions will curse us. So these are principles that we need to understand. Also, the Buddha said the most important Dhamma that he teaches is the Four Noble Truths, the Four Aryan Truths. The first truth is truth about suffering. And the Buddha said suffering is because of craving, because we want to enjoy life. Because we want to enjoy life, we have the will to live, a strong will to live. So when most beings, when we pass away, we hold on to life, we refuse to die. And because of this strong will to live, we project ourselves into another life. The mind is very strong. You see, when people are dying, some people, they refuse to die, maybe because they see another realm disappearing before them. It's a frightening realm. And they don't want to die, they hold on to life. As long as they can bear it, they hold on to life. But some people, when the time comes, they just let go and go off easily. Why? Because perhaps they have good karma. They don't have so much attachment. Even in wars, you find if a soldier gets struck by a bullet or a bomb, explodes, there are some, they will die very fast. But another person, perhaps he has a serious wound, but when he thinks of the wife and the children, he hold on to life. And his will is strong enough, he can make it go through. So this will is propelling us from life to life, birth to birth. So this suffering is mainly caused by craving and attachment. If we let go of our craving and attachment, then our life, the life of Aryans, becomes limited because they don't attach so much to the world. They let go. And then the second noble truth is the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering is craving. Craving brings along attachment. For example, if you love your beautiful child, so you have craving for the child, and that craving comes along with attachment. So if anything happens to your child, you can't bear it. There's a man in Malaysia who told me he had 2 daughters and 1 son. The son went to Australia to study, and then something happened. I think he drowned in a pool or something. And the parents had so much suffering. The father told me it was so unbearable. And as a result of that incident, he said he dare not love the 2 daughters so much. If anything happened to the daughters again, he wouldn't be able to stand it. So it's because of this understanding of the Dhamma that he starts to let go. So when you let go, you have less suffering. The third noble truth is cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering is when we get rid of the unwholesome states of mind called greed, hatred and delusion. Greed, I think all of you know the meaning of greed. When you have excessive greed, you can do terrible things, cheat people, and then commit adultery or whatever. Then hatred, because of hatred, somebody is of a different religion than you, somebody is of a different race than you, can have hatred. Because of hatred, you can kill people. Then delusion is a very blurred state of mind. So blurred, the hindrances. In Buddhism, we talk about 5 hindrances that can be very strong: sensual desire, ill will or anger, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. Sensual desire can be so strong when some man can rape the daughter or rape the granddaughter. Yeah? Ill will or anger can be so strong that because of quarreling over a parking space, somebody can kill somebody else. Yeah? And then sloth and torpor. Sloth and torpor you can see when you meditate. When you meditate. And restlessness also when you meditate. The mind is running all over the place. You can't fix your mind on your breath. So these are the 5 hindrances that we have to get rid of, and you get rid of in meditation. So that is delusion. A person who is deluded, he can sit beside the Buddha, and the Buddha is teaching him the Dhamma. He cannot understand because his mind is so blurred. The Dhamma is very profound, so you need to have to be highly intelligent to understand the Dhamma. So the Buddha said, if he teaches, the Buddha said, let an intelligent man come to me, one who is honest, straightforward. Now I will teach him the Dhamma. The Buddha doesn't teach the Dhamma to everybody. He sees those that are capable of understanding, then only he will teach. So the spiritual path, the holy path, is the practice to get rid of these 3 unwholesome states: greed, hatred, and delusion. And if you have eliminated these 3 defilements, then you become an enlightened person. But there are many levels of partial enlightenment. There are various Aryan stages. So the highest stage is the Arahant. One is totally liberated. So that is the cessation of suffering. Person has totally eliminated the greed, hatred, and delusion. Is totally rid of suffering because there's no more self. You can see that this body is not the self. The mind is also not the self. So that is cessation of suffering. Then the path leading to the cessation of suffering is the Aryan Eightfold Path, Noble Eightfold Path. There are 8 factors that you have to practice to reduce your suffering. And the sutta says you have to start with the first one, which is right view. The right view will bring you to right thoughts, which will bring you to right speech, right action, right livelihood, and then right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So the Aryan Eightfold Path has to be practiced in that order, only that order. So the first factor is the most important, right view. And the sutta says to get right view, there are two conditions. One is the voice of another teaching you the Dhamma. By yourself you cannot attain right view. Somebody has to teach you the true Dhamma, the original suttas, discourses of the Buddha. Of course you can study the books on the translations of the discourses of the Buddha yourself also, in which case it is the voice of the Buddha that is teaching you. So the second condition is focused attention. When you listen to the Dhamma, you must pay full attention, then you can understand. But a person with a blurred mind, he wouldn't be able to focus his attention. Mind is, what do you call it, deficit, attention deficit. So these are the only 2 conditions to get right view. Once you get right view, you have seen the Dhamma, you become the lowest Arya, a stream enterer. And once you become the lowest Arya, the 3 woeful planes are close to you. Forever you will never be reborn as a ghost, as an animal, or go to hell. And your blessings will be extremely great. And then your life will be limited. 7 more existences. You will only be reborn as a human being and go to heaven. And each time, whether as a human being or go to heaven, you have a very good life because your blessings are immense, immeasurable. So, the Buddha says, once you become an Arya, the suffering that remains is very little compared to a Putujana, an ordinary worldling who's forever on the round of rebirths and cannot get out of the round of rebirths. Because a Putujana, in the cycle of rebirths, most of the time he will go to the woeful planes because of our natural tendencies of greed, hatred and delusion. We are reborn as a ghost, animal or hell more often than we are reborn as a human being or go to heaven. So, the Buddha also said that where the Aryan Eightfold Path is found, there you can find Aryans. Where the Aryan Eightfold Path is not found, you cannot find these Aryans, these holy men. So, the Aryan Eightfold Path is very important to us to reduce our suffering. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is dependent origination. This whole world is created because of causes and conditions. Buddha said, as I mentioned, time has no beginning and no end. The Buddha also said that space is boundless. You cannot find the boundaries of space. And this is recently confirmed by Professor Stephen Hawking. So, the Buddha talked about world system. Every star is a world system. And then the Buddha talked about the small 1,000-fold world system, which consists of like 1,000 stars. But of course, this 1,000 is only approximate. Then the Buddha talked about the middling 1,000-fold world system, which is 1,000 of these clusters of 1,000 world system. So that is the middling 1,000-fold world system. Then the Buddha talked about the great 1,000-fold world system, another 1,000 of this middling world system. So, because space is boundless, so whatever life we experience here, there are uncountable numbers of them out in space, just like us. Because they are so far away, we can't communicate with them. In the Bible, it is said that the world will be destroyed by fire, but it's not explained how the world will be destroyed by fire. But the Buddha explained. The Buddha said world systems, sometimes they expand, sometimes they contract. So now scientists have come to know that the stars are moving away from each other, are moving away from us. This is the expanding world system. But the Buddha said there's a limit to their expansion. A time will come when they reach their limit. After that, world systems will contract. The stars will come nearer and nearer and nearer. Now we have one sun with us, and it is hot enough. Time will come, a second sun comes near us. When the second sun comes near us, human beings will die, animals will die, plants will die. Later, as the stars come nearer, third sun will come. The rivers start to dry. The ocean starts to get lower. Then fourth sun, fifth sun. By the time seventh suns come near us, the world will burn. And all these stars will come together and form a huge mass, what scientists now call a black hole. Black hole is a huge sun. So huge that its magnetic pull is so strong. Anything that goes near is sucked in. And because it has such a huge magnetic pull that it is burning, and the light particles try to go out, they are sucked in. Light particles go out, these photons go out and sucked in. So it's because of that you look from far, you cannot see it. That's why they call it a black hole. So a time will come when you will explode and throw out all the stars and all the planets and all that. So this has been going on for eternity, from the beginning of time to the ends of time. So the Buddha saw all this. So now slowly science is beginning to confirm what the Buddha has said 2,000 over years ago. At the moment we have one psychiatrist from America in our monastery. 2 years he came for a retreat, now he's come back. The first time he came, he told me, after listening to the discourses of the Buddha, he was astounded. Why? Because he said, what the psychiatrists have discovered in the last 100 years, the Buddha has spoken about it 2,500 years ago. That's why he's so interested in Buddhism. So, everything in the world arises from conditions. So, if we understand that, whatever happens in the world, we have to accept it. We were part of the causes and conditions that create the present situation. So, whatever comes our way, happiness or suffering, is a result of our actions, whether this life or past life. So we accept everything that comes our way, then we reduce our mental suffering. So the Dhamma teaches us a lot of things, and if you are ignorant of the Dhamma, you have wrong views. You believe in certain views that cause suffering to yourself, cause suffering to others. It's very important to know the Dhamma. The Dhamma doesn't ask you to believe in this and believe in that. The Buddha said, you come and find out. The Buddha in the Kalama Sutta, the Buddha said, don't believe the words, these words just because I spoke them. Don't believe because it comes from a holy man. Don't believe it because it comes from the books. Whatever. You go and practice. And if you find it is good for you, then you continue practicing. So I'll end here. Invite any questions.
Bhante, I'd like to know if bad thoughts bring bad karma. And the other thing is, the power of the mind can do bad things to other people. When you think, you can do bad things. Here in West, at least I believe this.
What is the first question? You said bad words?
Bad thoughts.
No, the first one was bad words create bad karma.
Bad thoughts.
Bad thoughts
bring bad karma.
Just thoughts by themselves has a small effect. Suppose, for example, I have a thought to steal something. Yeah. For example, I have a thought to steal monk's iPhone in his dwelling. Yeah. The thought itself is a small offense. Okay. Then I plan how to do it. Now that's another small offense. Then I will wait for the right time when he is not in his dwelling. Then I walk towards his dwelling to take the iPhone. Every step that I take in the monk's Vinaya, in the monk's discipline, the Buddha said every step that you take is a small offense. So you add up all these small offenses. And then I go to the dwelling, I open the door. Then it's another offense. I walk inside his room. Then I take the I touch the iPhone, I'm about to lift it up, I hear footsteps. I quickly run out. So I did up to the last step, but I didn't complete the theft. I didn't complete the theft. The moment the Buddha said, I lift up the iPhone, I've completed the theft. So the Buddha has dissected the action into many, many parts. So it's not just a thought. For example, in the Vinaya, a monk asked the Buddha, in his dreams he had a lustful dream. And he asked the Buddha whether it was an offense. The Buddha said no. Dreams, no. So also because of our habitual tendencies, sometimes you may think of lustful thoughts from your past. It's also not an offense. As long as you don't do something about it.
You have to do something. You only think.
No.
It's not that hard.
But in Christianity and in Mahayana Buddhism, the thought itself is a sin. But not in the Buddha's original teachings.
The power of mind to do bad things to another person?
You don't have that psychic powers. It's not possible to do something unless you have a psychic power. But what happens often is that people employ spirits to do something for them. Especially like in Asia, Southeast Asia, they use black magic. They're using the power of some spirit to do it.
No, because here in Greece we have the big eye, the evil eye, or you are jealous about something in another person, you can do something to the person.
Usually it's by using mantras. But mantras, yeah, but just your eye doesn't work. Yeah.
If we are very attached to our families, are we going to rebirth as humans?
Whether you come back as a human being or not, I mentioned in my talks yesterday, is whether you behave like a human being. Which means the basic quality of a human being is not to harm others and to help others. If you have these two basic qualities, you can come back as a human being. It's okay if you are attached to the family. The Buddha said, for two persons to be reborn together, 4 things are important. One is faith, the same religion. The other one is generosity, equally generous or equally selfish. The third is moral conduct. 2 persons with the same moral conduct or without moral conduct will be born together. The fourth is wisdom or stupidity will be born together. So 4 things.
There is a very big suffering.
Everyone?
When we are so attached to a person, there is a suffering.
Yes.
Finally, is it a blessing to rebirth as humans?
Yes, it's a blessing to be born as a human because you don't know the state of ghosts and animals, you don't realize how lucky you are.
If you go to the hell realm or the other bad realm, is it possible to go out?
Oh yes, definitely, because life is impermanent. Everything is impermanent.
What do they do to go out?
Oh, it depends on your blessings. How much blessings you have. So you have good blessings, Now you create a lot of good actions, like I mentioned Bill Gates and Warren Buffett get reborn in heaven. But when you are in heaven, you enjoy life, so you are using up your blessings. The time will come when your blessings come down. You have to come down as a human being. So where you go, all depends on our blessings. So it's very important to keep our blessings high.
In the past, you have done something that did not help other people, or you were not. It's possible to change this.
The Buddha said, if we have done evil in the past, then we experience obstructions in life at the present or in the future. So the way to overcome it, the Buddha gave a simile. The Buddha said, during the Buddha's time, they did not have fine salt. They had lumps of salt. So the Buddha said, you get one lump of salt, you put it in a cup of water and you stir. When you drink the water, it's very salty. Yeah. You take the same lump of salt, you put it in the river. You stir the river water and you drink, it's not salty. The Buddha said the salt represents your evil karma. The water represents your good karma. So you need a lot of good karma to dilute the effect of your bad karma. So basically, the way to get good karma is dana, sila, bhavana. Dana is generosity, helping others. Sila is moral conduct, not to harm others by keeping the precepts. Yeah. Bhavana is development of your character, purifying your mind, purifying your thoughts, getting rid of unwholesome states of mind, creating wholesome states of mind. As you do that, your character will change to become a deva or a devi. And if you have a good heart, you have the character of a deva or a devi, you'll be very happy in this life. You don't have to wait until you go to heaven. You can experience happiness of heaven in this very life itself.
Bhante, I have one more question. There are two things in a human life that, in mundane life, that brings us in another world. One is cinema, movies. The other is video games. So
the first one is what?
Cinema, movies, watching a movie.
Yeah.
So those two, or a theater also, makes human get into another situation, like living it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of movies with killings, and usually we take the part of the good, let's say, guy who kills thousands of people in the movie. In video games, kids or adults, they kill hundreds of video game personas. So the minute they kill, they have an intention to kill. I think everything is there except the actual person, like a real human die, but all the rest is the same. And concerning the movies, it's like rejoicing, seeing someone killing someone else. So I would like to ask if that creates karma and how heavy that is.
It creates a tendency because it seems to justify your killing somebody. Yeah, and that is very bad. That's why you see, like in America now, somebody walks into the school and shoots the school children, or walks into some place and shoots a lot of people. So all this is partly due to all these computer games. This doctor in America, he was telling me about this same thing, and he talked to me about some game which I never heard of, and then he explained to me, these kids play this game where anything, they're like holding the gun. Yeah, anything that they see, they're supposed to shoot. So all this is very bad. Just justifying killing. are wasting their time and they are feeding their greed, hatred and delusion.
So we can say that actors contribute to this delusion in general. Most of the movies, I'm not talking about spiritual movies, I'm talking about mundane movies. So they cultivate this delusion to the rest of us, humans.
Yes.
More or less.
Actually, there is a sutta where a stage manager came to see the Buddha and he asked the Buddha this question, Talaputta. He said, I have heard that we go around entertaining people with these road shows and we make people laugh and all that. So, as a result of that, when we die, we will go to heaven and become a laughing deva. He asked the Buddha whether it's true. The Buddha refused to answer him. Second time he asked the Buddha kept quiet. Third time he asked the Buddha, and the Buddha said, I have to answer you since you asked 3 times. And the Buddha said, as a result of your actions, entertaining people, you are making people have more greed, hatred and delusion. And you might be reborn in hell as a laughing hell being. So, unless that actor or actress does a lot of good deeds, there are some actors and actresses, they do a lot of good deeds, become wealthy, and that's very good. But you find some of the old actors and actresses, when they died, it's very pitiful the way they died.
I found very curious that you mentioned attention disorder, attention deficit, this blurred mind state, because I discussed about this last night with a very close person to myself. Also, I've been said before that me personally, I've been throughout my life a bit easily distracted, and I think before 2 years I didn't have any awareness of this state of myself. When I found out about this, I started getting closer to understanding this state. But after discussing this last night, I feel like it's not an awareness I constantly have, despite the meditation that I'm doing and all the things that I'm trying to do. And I think this is something, it would be nice to be solved. Because on both a spiritual level and on living in this world for the time being. So the question is actually, what would be a suggestion of what I could do to just get out eventually of this blurred sort of condition? It's just very confused most of the time, really.
You can see that people like drug addicts, they are very blurred. You press a button, they might even kill you. So a lot of people, if they don't learn the Dhamma, they continue in this way of life, very blurred. But you say you meditate and it's not enough. Why? Because when you are meditating for that short while, you are having awareness. For example, you meditate 1 or 2 hours a day, but in the 24 hours, the rest of the time, you are not practicing mindfulness. And the way the mind works is that the mind keeps running all the time. This asava, the flow of the mind. Mind keeps, the Buddha called it a flow. It's like a uncontrolled flow. This flow of the mind is so strong that when you are not doing anything, you are daydreaming. You are thinking of this, thinking of that. Yeah. And to get to sleep, you have to turn off this computer up there. Yeah. You have to stop the mind from working. And it's easier if you're very tired, physically tired, you fall off to sleep because your mind has stopped for working for a while. But after you fall asleep, you find it starts to run again and you're dreaming. Most of the night when you're sleeping, you're dreaming. It's just that when you wake up, you've forgotten your dream. It's a short memory dream. So this is what makes us go on the cycle of rebirths, life after life. We are dreaming all the time. Life after life is a dream. As I mentioned, we think the world is out there, but actually what happens is the light impinges on our eyes into our retina and the consciousness arises. And we see the world. But the world that we see is in consciousness. And consciousness is in the mind, it's not out there. So everything is in the mind. And different people have different mindsets. So they have different worlds. We create our own world. So it is very important to have a clear mind so that you have a good world. You create a good world. So one way to do that is in India they like to recite the mantra. Yeah. In Buddhism you can recite a short verse, for example, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, homage to the Blessed One, Arahant Samma Sambuddha. You keep reciting that. So your mind, you have a whole of your mind. A lot of people, we don't have a whole of our mind. Your mind is running all over the place. And that gives you a lot of suffering, mental suffering. So you try to do that, do some chanting throughout the day. They will keep you mindful.
I wanted to ask if a stream enter, a sotapanna, do they have greed, hatred, and delusion? And if they do have those, do they ever break the precepts? Thank you.
Sotapanna, first path or first fruit, Arya, still has greed, hatred, and delusion. In fact, only the Arahant does not have greed, hatred, and delusion. But the second fruition, Arya, the Sakadagamin, has reduced greed, hatred, and delusion. And that is because of attaining jhana. The second, second fruition, Arya, the Sakadagamin, he must attain either the first jhana or second or third jhana to become a Sakadagamin. And because he has strength of mind, and the greed, hatred, and delusion has reduced.
As far as breaking the precepts,
no. The Buddha says once you become an Arya, you will not be able to do any serious offense that will bring you to the woeful plains. You see, like a person who is a Sotapanna, when he comes back in the next life, has forgotten the Dhamma, like our Buddha. So unless he learns the Dhamma again, he might do things like killing a rat, killing a bird or something, but it's not a serious offense.
Bhante, talking about killing animals, killing an animal as a child, that is a serious offense.
No, as a child.
Animals, a lot of kids, especially in the 60s, 70s, my age, it was a common practice to kill ants or flies or even bigger animals with BB guns. Or how serious is this?
In the Vinaya, for monks, the monastic discipline is a heavy offense for a monk or a nun to kill another human being or ask somebody to have an abortion. That is a serious offense. But to kill animals is a minor offense.
And another question is, if you have a relative who is in, let's say, in intensive care, and the doctor said that this person is in a coma, and they ask you what you want us to do. Do you wish to unplug this person and give him or her a rest, or keep going? My personal opinion is, if you plug it out, it's like killing the person. So what is the point? But if the doctor says, well, this is the best thing to do and there's nothing else we can do, so where it lies the decision one has to make in order to comply with Dharma?
Of course, if it's somebody that you love, you try to prolong that person's life as long as you can. Then after a period, you find that there's no hope and that person might be suffering more, then it appears then it might be okay. But it's totally up to that person involved, up to family members to make the decision. It's a hard decision to make. So it's not wise for one person to make that decision. It's better for the family to discuss and come to a conclusion. If you make the decision yourself, one day you may regret.
Yes, but if other people are involved, then maybe they will regret as well. So it's a matter of one, take all the responsibility and let the people free from guilt, let's say, feelings. Do this in full conscious about it.
Yeah, but you should try to prolong as long as you can struggle on. I've heard of the case of a lady who was in a coma, and the doctors was telling the family to stop all this life support system, and the family discussed, and they decided to wait longer. And then this lady woke up one day and told them everything that they discussed she heard. So it's very hard to say. No more questions?
It's an opportunity to ask questions, because next session will be at 6.
When my father died of cancer, he struggled a lot. He was not able to let go, so he was really in a lot of attachment to life. And I was there. I tried to calm him, but he was holding on. And then for a while I walked out to go and eat something. And then when I came back, he was dead. And I have some guilt that although I knew, I had the feeling he's going to die, I left him. It was hard for me, but this keeps coming, this guilt sometimes, that I was not there, although I felt he may die. And my sister was there, and she told me that at the end he was calm just before dying. So it seems he let go of the fear, and so that was okay. But I carry a little bit of guilt still that I was not there.
I think you should let go also. That is, yeah, because you have done what you could have done. Every one of us, we have a time for us to go. Yeah, and you were not sure that he was going at that time. If you were sure, you would not have left him. Yeah. Yeah, but then this thing can drag on for a long time. Yeah. So it's not your fault. Nothing to do with you. Anyway, what is important where he has gone for rebirth, and where he has gone for rebirth, you also cannot do anything. It depends on his karma. If he has, if he had a good heart, he will go for a good rebirth. No. You only left him for a short while. Sometimes when somebody is dying, they want to see somebody they have not seen for some time. Somebody like overseas, they have not seen for a year or two. And they hold on to life until that person comes, and then they let go. But you have been with him for all the time. Only for a short while you were not there. Don't blame yourself.
But another question is, I heard the story that can't remember if it is in a sutta, that someone, a monk, an ordained monk, committed suicide in order to get arhatship. Is something like this in the suttas? Or?
In the suttas, there's 2 or 3 monks who committed suicide. But before they committed suicide, the Buddha went to see them. And because they had already attained arhathood, the Buddha said, don't worry, do whatever you have to do, it's blameless. So it's like the Buddha has given them the license to commit suicide. But that's because they have finished their work.
So it's not like killing.
No. Killing is killing a human being, killing a being, a human being. But Arahant, there's no being. There's a vegetable left behind. No suffering involved. Evil is when you harm somebody, cause somebody to suffer. Here he wants to reduce his physical suffering.
How about in Mahayana, they are talking about, now we're going to make it a bit more interesting, the conversation. In Mahayana, they are talking about skillful means. And this is justifying certain actions for a good cause. For instance, they are talking about Buddha when he was a bodhisattva. He killed a human being in order not to allow him to kill 500 merchants in a boat, I think it was. What is your thinking about this?
This story was probably created much later. But say suppose an armed robber breaks into your house and he wants to steal or something and rob, and somebody, maybe your daughter, sees him and screams, and he tries to stab your daughter. Then to protect your daughter, you have to do something drastic to stop him from killing your daughter. And maybe what you do might kill him, but that is because there's no other way. Yeah. So that is not really killing, because the evil karma of killing is premeditated murder. You have to have the intention to kill somebody. But when you are defending somebody, you have actually no intention to kill. You just want to stop him from killing somebody. But he has to start doing it. He breaks into your house and you think he might kill my daughter, and then you kill him first. That is wrong.
And about killing now, some people kill out of hate. I think most of the people kill out of hate. But there are certain people who kill without emotions, either because they're professionals, they don't know the victim, they just got paid to do the job, and actually they have neutral feelings towards the victim, and they just kill with no hate. But other people kill with hate and passion. What is the difference? Do they have different results? For example, General Rommel, I don't know if you have ever heard about him. He was in Afrika Korps, a German general, and he used to talk about war or battles without the hate. Like, and that was, he was telling to his soldiers that you have to do your job as a soldier, but you should not hate your enemy. And actually, the story says that he was quite compassionate with the prisoners of war and everything. So, is there any difference between someone who kills out of passion and hate with someone who kills?
There should be a difference, because hell has many levels. So if you have a lot of hate, you probably go to a deep level of hell. Yeah. So like when we were young, we did not know the Dhamma. Sometimes we kill out of ignorance. So the intention is not so strong. So it's not such a big sin. Mike.
Just now Michael said the person who kills, let's say, is a soldier. Partly because I think he was in the noble eightfold path in the wrong livelihood.
Yeah, like soldiers in war, they kill because they are under orders to do it. So the karmic consequence will be less. There is an interesting episode in the monks' monastic discipline, Vinaya. Devadatta was one of the Buddha's disciples who meditated a lot, and he achieved the various jhanas and achieved psychic powers, and he was very proud of it, and he showed it to the prince, and the prince was so impressed. The prince every day would offer him 500 dishes for his lunch every day. Yeah. So the Buddha, he had so many disciples. Some of them were not interested to listen to the Dhamma. They wanted to achieve psychic powers, and their ego became very big. So Devadatta was one person, a Buddha's disciple, who did not get right view. After he achieved psychic powers, his ego was so big And one day when the Buddha was old, he asked the Buddha to step down in front of all the monks. He said, Bhagava, you are so old already. Let me take your place. And then the Buddha scolded him in front of all the monks. The Buddha said, who do you think you are? I never asked Sariputta, my right-hand disciple, to take my place, or Moggallana, my left-hand disciple. You want to take my place. And the Buddha said, you are like spittle. People spit out. Nobody wants. He was so angry, he decided he wanted to kill the Buddha. So he tried various ways to kill the Buddha. One of the ways he tried was, he asked the prince Ajatasattu to provide him with men to do something. So Ajatasattu was a great fan of his. So Ajatasattu got a few men and told them, whatever this Bhante wants you to do, you go and do it. So he called the first man. He said, you go to where the Samana Gotama is. Our Buddha was called Samana Gotama. In such and such a place in the forest, you kill him and come back by this road. And after this man left, he asked two men. He said, you go, this man is coming back by this road, you kill him and come back by another road. And he asked 4 men to kill the 2, asked 8 to kill the 4, and asked 16 to kill the 8. So they left one by one. The first man went to where the Buddha was. He was surprised the Buddha was sitting there waiting for him. Then he thought, must be the Buddha knows what I'm coming here to do. Put down his weapons and asked for forgiveness from the Buddha. I said he was ordered to do this. The Buddha said, never mind, you sit down, I will teach you the Dhamma. The Buddha spoke the 4 noble truths to him. He attained stream entry. So then the Buddha told him, you don't go back by this road. 2 men are waiting to kill you. You run away another road. So he ran off. The 2 men waited and waited and waited. This man didn't come back. They started to go look for him. They came to where the Buddha was. They were also frightened. The Buddha was sitting there waiting for them. They also threw down their weapons and bowed to the Buddha. The Buddha said, you sit here, I'll teach you the Dhamma. They listened to the Dhamma, they attained stream entry. 4 men came, attained stream entry. 8 men, 16 men, all attained stream entry. So you see, to attain stream entry, you don't need to have sila. You need to only listen to the Dhamma. If you listen to the right Dhamma, you will become an Arya. And after you get right view, become an Arya, you will naturally uphold your sila, moral conduct.
I have also another question now. If you can, it's not a question, it's asking you to explain a little bit about meat eating. A lot of people, especially vegetarians, they believe that Buddhists, as Buddhists, they should be vegetarians as well. All Buddhists should be vegetarians, because if they are not vegetarians, that contradicts love and compassion to other sentient beings like animals. And I would like you to talk a little bit about meat eating, the approach one must have to this. Yes, please.
Okay. When the Buddha was struggling on the path to enlightenment, he tried various practices. One was thinking that the food we take contributes to whether we become enlightened or not. So he tried to eat particular foods, for example, a particular type of grain. And after trying for some time, he finds that he does not make any progress. He'll try another type of grain, and then it does not make progress. He'll try another type of grain. He keeps, and then later a type of fruit, only this particular fruit, nothing else. And then it didn't make any progress. He tried another fruit. He was also a vegetarian. So all this, finally, he found that it doesn't help in the spiritual path. Food has nothing to do with the spiritual part. So, after he became enlightened, and some people found that his monk disciples begged for their food and they ate anything that was given to them, and they started to criticize the Buddha. And the Buddha said, meat is allowed with 3 conditions. If you don't see, you don't hear, and you don't suspect that the meat was purposely killed for you, it is allowable. So if you go to the market and you buy meat that is already slaughtered, you can take home and cook it. You cannot, for example, go to a restaurant and choose a live fish to be cooked for you. No. Also, you cannot, for example, you're going to have a birthday party. You order 20 chickens and they have to slaughter for you, yeah? So you only can buy what is already slaughtered. And there are various reasons for this. If you eat meat with the 3 conditions, you don't have the direct karma of killing. People talk about, people say if you eat meat, then it causes people to kill more. That's true, but that is worldly cause and effect. It is not karma vipaka. Karma vipaka is intentional action. You must have the intention to do. For example, if you are driving on the road and a small kid runs across the road and you hit and kill him, you did not have the intention to kill him. You don't have any evil karma at all, but you did the killing. Yeah. So it's the same. As long as you don't have the intention to kill, it's okay. But also another reason is the Buddha had the wisdom to see that even if the whole world become vegetarians, there will still be killing. The pigs and the cows and the goats will multiply so much, they'll be going all over the highway. Yeah. And even now, in some countries, they kill stray dogs because these dogs multiply so fast that they have rabies and then they bite people. Yeah. This Hitler was supposed to be a vegetarian, yeah? Yes, how many people did he kill?
You said I forgot what I was going to ask. But anyway, you said about the soldiers who kill under orders. They are free of karma.
I didn't say they are free of karma. They have less
karma. All right. Because there was a study in 1965 with people to study why there was in the Second War so many killings. They found out that if you give orders to kill, they do without hesitation because they pass the responsibility to the order givers. But anyway, I think everybody has a choice to do the killing or not, even to kill themselves as well, not to pass the karma. No? I remember what. And how come in China there is plenty of restaurants? You can go in, choose the animals, and kill. They kill for you to eat.
Yeah, of course, because they are not Buddhists. Let me give you an example about this meat eating. Is in one of my books about meat eating. Suppose there is a serial killer in a city, yeah, and people dare not go out at night because he kills women and rapes women, etc. So they make a lot of noise, ask the police to get this man. So finally, after many months, the police managed to catch the serial killer. Yeah, and he goes to court. So the police bring him to court, and then after some time, the judge decides that this serial killer must be hanged. Yeah. So he's brought back into the prison, and the day of sentencing, somebody brings the prison guards will bring him out of the prison to the place where he has to stand, and then they get somebody to go to the side. He's standing on this platform. Somebody goes to the side and pulls the rope or something, and where he's standing, the door suddenly opens. He falls through that door and he's hanged. But it seems he doesn't die immediately. What happens is his neck, the bone is broken. He's hanging there for some time before he dies. Now, who has the greatest karma? Somebody is killed. Yeah. Is it the hangman? The hangman will say, I'm only obeying orders. The judge is the one who passed the sentence. Yeah. I'm only doing my job. Then the judge will say, I only spoke. I only said that he is to be hanged. I didn't do the hanging. This is the man who did the hanging. Yeah. So who's to blame? And then the police, are they blamable for catching this man? And then the people in the city who made all this protests to catch this man and hang him, are they involved? I think the most karma is borne by the person who pulls the rope. He's the one who has this direct feeling. Second is the judge who passes the judgment. The police, I think, don't have any karmic offense because they just caught this man. They didn't do anything to him. And the people who asked for this man to be hanged, they have a part in it. If they just kept quiet and the judge passed this sentence, they have no part. But they asked for this man to be hanged, so they have a small karmic offense. So it's the same with the meat eating. The man who slaughters the animal, he has the greatest offense. Second is the person who rears that animal and sends it to the market to be slaughtered. That's why in the sutta, the Buddha said there are 5 types of livelihood a lay person should not engage in. One is to buy and sell human beings, like slavery. Nowadays, people catch children, sell them to become prostitutes and all that. And then the second is rearing animals to be slaughtered. Another one is selling liquor and drugs. Another one is selling weapons. Another one is selling herbicides, insecticides that kill insects and worms, etc.
So that means also that in a restaurant, if you have a restaurant, you're selling meat.
If you are selling live meat, yeah.
Dead meat.
Dead meat?
Like, I mean meat, like from the market.
Already slaughtered?
Yes.
It's okay because you don't have the direct karma.
But
of course there is
karma.
Yeah. But actually we can't run away from this because you want to live in houses, they have to open up the forest so that they can build houses. Yeah. In the process of opening up the forest, animals have to die. Yeah. You want to use electricity, they have to dam the rivers. When they dam the rivers, a big area is flooded, animals die. So life is like this, you can't...
Also about insects. Because we have the insects in our houses, like can be cockroaches or rats, and it's not possible to have this in the house crawling over the food. Or so in these cases, you ask someone who's a specialist to put poison or do something. How is this? But you don't have the intention to kill. I mean, you don't want to kill the insects, but there's nothing you can do.
But some of this problem can be eliminated. The cockroaches and the ants are there because there is food to eat. So if you put the rubbish bin in your house, they will multiply. So you have to put the rubbish bin outside your gate. Then they will go there to eat. The ants will go there. And then if you are very untidy, after your meal, crumbs of bread is all over the table and on the floor and all that, then these ants come and they multiply. So if you are more careful, even they are inside the house, slowly they will become less and less and less. Will we continue tomorrow? This evening?
Okay. 3 of the factors he had to cut off to be a Sotapanna, not to say cut off, they say suppress, what they call that, personal will, what they call that, then Silatpata, Paramasa, the rites and rituals, and the one is doubt. The 3 factors you have to suppress for the Sotapanna.
You just need to listen to the true Dhamma, the original suttas, and attain stream entry, the first path. After some time, if he continues to study the suttas and practice according to the Dhamma, then the wisdom will mature. After it matures, then that person attains the first fruition, Sotapanna. At the time when he attains the first fruition, Sotapanna, the 3 factors will fall away naturally. He does not have to make the effort to get rid of these 3 factors. Okay?